The next project that I'm working on this car is the exhaust shields. What happened was they weren't finished correctly, and we wanted to put fresh wrinkle paint, but whatever they painted this stuff with originally just wouldn't come off with regular paint stripper. So I sent it out for and sent it to my powder coater that has like a hot tank, which is an industrial level stripper, so he was able to take it all off pretty easily. So now that it's stripped, and I'll just clean it up a little bit, and we'll start the process of wrinkle painting. You know, I have a grill that I use to wrinkle paint. It's a little bit of a process in the middle of winter. When you do it in the summertime, you put them out in the sun and try to get it nice and hot. But in the wintertime, I have a barbecue grill that I use to do it, and that's what we'll do now. So the way I start is I take the exhaust shield and put it in the grill and just let it warm up. I preheat it because usually when I'm doing it, it's wintertime and it's just a little cold. So let that warm up for a few minutes, and then I'll put some paint on it. So wrinkle painting is a little bit of a struggle sometimes, or it can be if you don't get the process right. What I usually use is I use this VHT Wrinkle Plus. It seems to work pretty well. I've also used Plasticoat makes a product, but I've recently just found VHT. I can get it pretty easily. So you know, I get this Wrinkle Plus, and that's what I do. But the step before is just to preheat the part. So it actually is a little warm and not at room temperature, because the deal is to just get the part warm enough. So this process is a little involved, so I don't know how much I'm going to shoot it, but it's really just laying on a couple thick coats of paint, which I'm going to get to right now. Okay, so here's a second coat. I let the first one kind of dry right after I stopped shooting video. It was kind of where it was, and I sprayed on another heavy coat. I'm gonna try to let this kind of set up a little bit, and then I'm gonna throw another coat on it. I like the wrinkle on these exhaust shields to be super coarse, so the only way to do that is just lay, you know, as much paint on there as possible, just short of running, and then that'll give it a chance. So when you put it on the heat, with heat, it'll wrinkle nice and coarse. Not enough, and it just wrinkles too fine. And the Ferrari wrinkle is like really a coarse wrinkle paint. So here we go. I'm going to stop and then lay on another coat. So here's my really low-tech oven. It's a repurposed barbecue grill. I got a hot plate underneath. It's set for the right temperature. You can see how thick it is. So it looks really smooth, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the lid on it and let it warm up. All right, after about 15-20 minutes, let's take a look at what we got. There you go. That's wrinkle. See how coarse it is? I mean, you have to lay it on pretty thick for it to look like this. And a lot of times I've done the wrinkle from powder coating, and it's just not as coarse like this. So I kind of like the rattle can stuff that I use. It lays it down a lot thicker, so you can actually control it. I don't know if you can control the thickness or the coarseness of it with powder coat, but this process is the only one that I've seen that works like this. So unfortunately my grill's not big enough to do 2 at a time, so I have to do it again. I'm going to start on the other one. Okay, here's the second one done. After it comes out of the heat, it just it wrinkles up. You give it some time, and what happens is the wrinkle finish is still pretty soft. Like if you put your fingernail in it, you'll make a mark. So it usually takes a couple days to dry and harden. So I don't really try to handle it much. Just let it dry up and cool down and harden. And then you can put it on, and it actually, once it hardens, it's actually a pretty hard surface and wear resistant. So that's part of the whole wrinkling process.